Okay, let's look at anxiety. People may not know, but the worst anxiety comes from two traumas trapped in the body. So two life lessons trapped in the body, which is can come from ancestral, the chain of ancestral, or the past life, or why most struggle to let go. In some cases, it isn't even your own anxiety, and why most empaths struggle. It is like you're feeling frustrated and picking up somebody else's frustration, which is from a partner or around you, and then it starts to trigger your own insecurities. And that's why people are around you, really, so that they can reflect what you're vibrating or help you to let go of these lessons. But a lot of people hold on to stuff, and that's why then there's a build up of energy, which is what causes anxiety. And so you feel the two energies, and then times that by two, and suddenly you're starting to realize the amount of negativity in the body. In past life traumas and childhood traumas, when two are combined, the body can go into shock mode, automatic release, and they are the most hard to deal with. The body is trying to get you into a paralyzed state to release this excess negativity, and that's the anxiety. It's because it's getting you into a state of trying to let go, and that's why often sometimes pain is the only way that we actually deal with stuff. It's like the automatic response from food poisoning when you just are sick. The key is stopping anxiety is to see the triggers and stop absorbing the negativity, changing your perceptions of the anxiety, before it becomes too late and you're embroiled in it and you can't stop the flow of the anxiety, and then it's a releasement needed. Learning not to feed the negative, not attached, takes practice. Because like fear, anxiety is the body's last resort to get rid of deep-rooted programming, an overload of negativity. It can't handle it anymore. The best method is to deal with the anxiety by setting free or understanding we can limit the amount of anxiety on the body, or able to deal with before it becomes full hurricane mode. So you have signs, or some say triggers. Often when feeling loved, we can also bring to the surface deep-rooted issues. So your body is trying to get rid of it. That's why we overthink. It's basically letting you know that there's something not flowing and you're not balanced. You've separated from that which can heal your body. You've separated from the energy that is needed in your body. And so that's why we sometimes, even through food or love or whatever, to try and neutralize this energy. But when we have too much, it then causes us to go into these anxieties. In not dealing with them, we can cause other illnesses as well, as the body becomes diseased, not balanced. Meditation, especially that which cuts ties from emotional friends, soul cleanses, because every place that you've been to, every person you know has got a lesson for you, and so is feeding you negativity or trying to highlight these lessons so that you will let go of them, and so the body can flow again and feel connected and feel loved and supported and feel aligned with the universe and open all your senses. Well, if we suppress the senses, we're stopping the energy to flow from our body. So we're starting to do all these because in foods, in environments and everything, the energies are not actually helping us. And that's why nature cleanse is probably one of the best ways, because it balances the body, making it easier to deal with and making you more relaxed and chilled out. And so, my meditation to align the mind, body and soul does all this, and was purposely to help me cut the emotional ties, because that's all it is. You imagine every person you're connected to, there's an emotional tie. Now, if they're connected to thousands of people, then you've got all this energy coming to you. Now, it is a good thing in the sense that it gives you opportunity to let go of your lessons. It gives you opportunity to evolve. It gives you opportunity to have challenges and understand and grow and everything. But when it's overabundance, that's when we start to really, really struggle. That's when the anxiety takes over us. That's why we don't feel in control. And that's why a lot of people try and control their lives, because when they get into these anxiety situations, they feel not in control and they lose it. Why? The body's doing that on purpose to release. But you're fighting it, you're trying to stop it, and then what he's doing, it gets to a point where you can't stop it no more, and it just has to come out like panic attacks or one thing or another. So, to really start to understand this, you have to deal with the vibration of what you're putting out. If you're focusing on lack, if you're being triggered by others to look at your problems or your fears or your doubts and you don't want to, so then you fight against your partners and everything like that, you've got to deal with this stuff. If you don't deal with this stuff, it just builds up within the body, it becomes stress in the body, and then that's then when the body starts to react. You know, and so you have to look into your past, because your lessons that you've brought from your past life. You have to look at the ancestral chain, which is your parents and what emotions they're bringing forward for you to learn. You put programs in childhood from the age of 0 to 7, you know, and also in the future. Worries about the future can be part of your lessons and one thing and another. So it's causing you need to free this all up, and that's why I do the vibrational healing. To recognise how negativity can affect you, just think of something that winds you up. You know, it could be a scenario or a situation, and try and find that word. You know, find that word that really winds you up, that you can feel on the body. Then just keep mentioning that word, and as you keep mentioning that word, your body still reacts more and more and more until you get to the point where you can't handle the pain no more in the body. That's called trapped energy. That's trapped stuff. You know, and once you understand this, that you've created it, you're vibrating it, is as a lesson, you can let it go. You know, and that you can forgive, feel, and let go. You can forgive yourself for actually creating, which is half the problem. You know, it's your thought. It's not actually happened. A lot of it. If it's coming from lessons, then yes, it is in the body, and so the body is trying to release it. That's understandable. But a lot of times, it's our false illusion. Do you know what I mean? Because if you understood that a brick wall is just an opportunity to go a different direction, or you're not meant to go in that direction, so that's why you've created it, then all of a sudden you've stepped brick wall. And once you understand that, it's because you're not. If you were connected, you wouldn't meet the brick wall, unless it was a lesson, obviously, or an experience to understand the bigger picture to why you've walked down that street to that brick wall. So, you know, when you understand all this, you can then change the mindset of the anxieties. You can change it. But when it is come from two stages in your life, like we call two lessons, it's very much harder because it's more powerful. And that's what I think the true, real bad anxiety is when you've got lessons that are deep rooted and they're triggering, because they're attracting twice as much energy into your body that your body can't handle. So anxiety is like being at stage 10. So once you've said that word so many times, it's normally stage 10. Then if you doubled it to 20, you'd realise that that's like full on anxiety, body's in shutdown mode, get rid of it all, and this, that and the other, you know. So that's what I'm saying to you. You've got to, before you hit the meltdown, you've got to look at the triggers. You've got to get everything. So forgive yourself for the experience. Feel that pain of that word and just let it go. That's the secret. And once you understand this, then more things you can understand. Or even look at the bigger picture to something. You know, why am I attracting relationships where they can't love me back because of their traumas or what they've been through? Maybe because I don't love myself. You know, the big picture was, in a scenario like this, I didn't love myself, so I attracted somebody who showed me I didn't love myself. You know? It's all relative, it's all connected, it's all... And that's why I do this sort of healing work, because what it does is, I show all the links of where it comes from, how to release it, and then once you see the bigger picture to why it's happening, or why it's created, or what it's giving you the opportunity to do, or the lesson to learn, you can see the good side to it. And you're going to say, how can anxiety give me a good side? Well, the anxiety is only because you have stopped the flow of the body, and you're not flowing. You're not you're not allowing the body to heal itself. You are stopping yourself from being the energy that you are, the neutral energy, the pure energy of the body. And so, you're stopping it. And until you take control of it, you're not going to be able to let go of it. Still you understand that you've created it, you're not going to uncreate it. Because you're always going to feel lost in the thing that you're not in control, that you're not able to. And then you're always going to be, it's always going to control you. The more you try and control it, the more it controls you. Understand that. So, it could be from a program from childhood. We come to this earth, we want to learn certain things, and so we set ourselves programs in childhood, and then we start to live it after the age of 7. Because between 0 and 7, we're just a learning machine. So the simple ways to do this is just to imagine a box. Every time you say something negative, put it in a box. Imagine the universe dealing with it. Stop yourself from holding on to these negative thoughts that you're doing. There are opportunities to let go. There are opportunities to sort lessons out. There are opportunities to flow again or to be connected again. You wouldn't have a problem unless you've created a problem, or unless there is a problem there to be solved. And once you get into like the automatic flow, the problems get automatically sorted by the universe because you're not attaching to them. But you've got to find out where they came from, So major anxiety, like say maybe 2 areas of program. Mine was not being good enough and also related to money. So I had 2 that was really causing me sometimes to go into sort of a meltdown. So not having enough created me, not having enough money created me, but the universe always provided, so I don't even know why that I even got that way. Because there's been times where I have been rock bottom, and you know what? There's always something good comes out of it, or there's always something happens, or I used to make it fun in the end because I used to have like £2.50 in my pocket when I was on the rock and roll, on the dole as they say, and I used to say, right, today I'm going to find myself £2.50 of a perfect meal. And the amount of times I ended up at some, drawn to some place, and they'd be like the food I really liked would be like half price or whatever, and it would be exactly £2.50. And I thought, God, if I can create a world and create my meal like this, what else could I create? How much of our thoughts are creating our reality? How much is it our vibration that is attracting situations and everything? I mean, it's a lot further than that, because in the end you find out it's like the opposite, because the universe is trying to support you and give you what you're giving to them. It's trying to give you love and get you back connected, and you're fighting this, and you're putting mostly lack or mostly stuff that stops from having the stuff that you need. It tend to be what the body's you've detached from the source, because you're part of everything, so you're connected to everything, so you can have everything you want. But if it doesn't bring peace to your life, then it doesn't flow to you often. And so, it's only you putting it out that you can't have it that makes it not able to have, until eventually you get past this energy and you've taken it all down the blocks and everything, then all of a sudden it flows in. So I knew the universe was always provided, and I couldn't understand, so I traced the money back. And my ancestors were worried about not being good enough. One was like me, spendthrift, because I had seen what money had done to people, as my best mate took his life over love and money. So money to me, and also being a monk in a past life, I didn't like money. I saw what money did to people. It changed people. It made people greedy and selfish and always wanting more out of life and not wanting the fundamentals, I mean, not all people are like that. There's some people who understand the way money is a free-flowing energy, and so you have to give as much as that. But then my other ancestor was tight with money and wouldn't give money out. And so I had a duality effect of one of me doesn't like money, wants to give it away before it hurts me, and then another one wants to keep it and hold on to it. But, so suddenly, and then when I'm back even further into past life, I noticed that I'd been like a I'd been inside of a cage, and they were throwing money at me, and I was giving it to the children, and I got beat up because I was giving my money away, and so I had that. And then there was a lord, and I saw myself as a lord, and I helped the village out, and everybody was prosperous, everybody was good. But then I got married, and the lady I got married to decided that she wanted all my wealth, and she got somebody else involved to kill me and take my money and this, that, and the other. And then, this, I thought, oh my God, you know what I mean, sort of thing. But the monk was the hardest because he didn't have money. He didn't want money. And so he would not accept it. Somebody else used to take the money off him if he was giving it for his healing and his spiritual work and one thing and another. So it's really his. But if you can change that onto the positive side and you can see what it is creating, then it made me into the person I am. The mannerisms, the way I am, do you know what I mean? And I probably wouldn't have helped as many people out if I hadn't have had these issues, And so there is a positive side to it. Traumas are not just all negative. Traumas give us the lessons for us to evolve into a better person, So once I understood that, then I don't look at my child as being bad anymore. I believe it's given me the strength in character, the challenges and everything. So now that when I'm in difficult situations, I'm able to deal with them a lot better. Why? Because I'm a lot stronger in character. I understand that good comes out of bad. I understand that why have I created this? What is happening here? Let's look into it. Let's trace it. Let's challenge it. Let's work it out, because it wouldn't be on the bother. So when you have two areas, it's even stronger, and that's why some of you who have anxiety issues will find it's really strong. And it may be that you've got two lessons that needs to be cleared out or let go of. So to help, look what triggers you and see the big picture. Don't just put it to one side. Don't just oh no, do you know what I mean? Put it in a box, yes, because that you're telling your brain and your body that you've dealt with it now. And if it keeps coming back, it's something that you need to find out if there's a lesson or a programming or an ancestral chain that you've picked up. Or look at what the worst can happen. So I looked at, if I had no money, would I still be good enough? Yes, I still would be good enough. So what would happen? My anxiety was also to do with that I was letting my son down. But that was where I wasn't being good enough, do you know what I mean? Which is also an ancestral thing, so I've only just realised myself. So you need to let that go. And so often it isn't as bad. So what's the worst thing is that I go skint for a day or so, or I can't afford something or whatever. So what? There's always opportunities. So there's always ways in which this can be sorted. And so as long as I keep balanced and I keep the flow of, then it's all okay. So here's some key tips for you. Drinking warm water dilutes negativity. Some people are actually attracted to food because of the water content in the food, or the food itself because that also neutralizes negativity. But then it causes, if it's not good food or whatever, it can cause, and you don't love it because you know it's going to harm your body, then it also causes side effects. So, yeah, warm water dilutes negativity. Loving yourself, imagine love going through your body, will neutralize negativity. Being in nature is a great way, because after 20 minutes of you sort of like walking, all your emotions are relieved into nature, and then you'll find that you're more at peace and your mind quiets down, and then that's a good way to get rid of, if you're an empath, you're absorbing negativity from your workplace, from your people around you. You're already connected, and that's why cutting ties and doing my meditation is very important each day. It just gives you a little bit of relief from how much that you could be absorbing, So just even imagine yourself in nature, or taking 5 minutes to sit in a park, you'll notice the difference in yourself. You'll be able to handle things a lot easier. Imagine a happy place. That you counsellors out there, you love that. Imagine your happy place, but it does actually work. But often you find that when you're in anxiety or you're too much, you can't think of your happy place. Why? Because you're too busy caught up into releasing to actually utilize the energy to go and think about doing something else, you know. So that's the problem when we get into full-blown anxiety. So try and look for the triggers, what sets you off, what gets you going, and then go to your place, you know, before you even start to get to full-blown stage. And you'll find, oh, you know, I'm triggered. That's a sign that I'm got too much negativity in the body. I'll quick meditate. I'll release. I'll imagine myself in nature. I'll sit under a waterfall. Anything, you know. But putting your ideas and thoughts into a box really does help, because it doesn't stay on the body as much. If it keeps reappearing, then you've got to deal with it. So mind, body and soul alignment is 10-minute alignment. You can play it while you're vacuuming or while you're doing anything. It's purposely not going to send you asleep, but what it's going to do is basically cut the ties, get you into nature, put new vibrations into your body to replace the old ones that's causing you problems, gets you connected, gets you into the higher connection, which then basically stops you from absorbing so much negativity and stuff. Or you could book me for a session if there is like some areas that you want to clear out, to let go of these anxieties. So I hope this has been helpful. They've got loads of stuff on I've got about 350 videos and all sorts, and they're different areas, different things. Like one of my next videos is going to be letting go of hurt, because that's another one. You know, you got to forgive yourself and let go of the hurt in the body that could be attracting as well. I'm going to be sticking loads of meditations up, loads of all sorts of things. So, you know, basically the spiritual journey is learning to deal with these things, learning to let go of these things, learning about who you are, your mannerisms, why you've created your life you have. You know, after so much going wrong, I decided that I was going to find out, and that's why I went on my 10-year journey. Not to say that I wasn't spiritually getting involved. I was from the age of 16 when I first sort of started to see spirit and hear spirit and one thing and another. I feel that's when I started my spiritual journey, and my awakening really happened in my 20s. That was when it really was awoken to the energies and everything, and who I was and everything. As I went to Spain to play football, but ended up at a high place and feeling that my spirit inside me was leaving the body, and basically I was being awakened in a very strange, and started hearing loads of voices and and you know, and at the same time my mum was being ill, going through a brain trauma, and I was ill, and ended up felt like some of the information from her was being passed to me, and it was just amazing, but at the same time quite scary, because it was the only thing that stopped me, glandular fever, and I was in bed for 4 days with visions and all sorts of things, and so, you know, they showed me that there isn't a whole world out there. And the more you experience it, the more connected you become, the more you're guided, the more you enjoy, the more you don't have as many problems. You know, the less you're overthinking, the more you're meditating and enjoying life and meeting the right people to sharing the experience, who then are on a soul-to-soul level, which means that they want to help you and you want to help them, and it takes down all the human experience barriers of being selfish and blaming and all the other stuff. So, good luck for all those, and look out for some of my posts on anxiety and how to self-help.